Do 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 do.
The Tennessee Titans are now on the clock. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Wednesday evening. We are just a day away from the biggest party of the Wire Club year, the annual NFL draft party. Are you guys ready for it? Some of you guys have been preparing since 2 weeks ago, maybe longer. It's really jumped up on us pretty quickly here. What kind of food are you going to be having tomorrow night? I know one thing, we're going to be rocking a party. The tailgating pregame is going to begin at 7 o'clock. I think the thing is starting right at 8 o'clock, so we're going to tailgate 7 o'clock, maybe a little earlier, get in some live NFL draft trivia, maybe some random trivia. It's going to be awesome talking about the draft as it's going, watching it on Fox. I cannot wait, guys. It's coming. Less than 24 hours away. Party's going to kick off. But tonight, I bring you the annual General Peters NFL Draft Forecast. So this is going to be my mock draft for this year. We had a lot of fun with it. Last year was the first whiteboard series, and I'm really excited to bring it back to you again this year. And I thank you all for tuning in to watch the mock draft on the Frank Addington channel. And we have we're going to do this maybe like 6 at a time, and then go through only the first round of the draft, and maybe talk a little about each player that I think is going to go to each team. And then last year, after we got through the first 32 picks, I did a little bonus coverage and talked about who I think would go early in the second round, and I named some of the names there. I also talked about a couple of the teams that were not picking in the first round, and I gave you my mock pick for those teams. This year, every team in the National Football League has a first round pick, so I won't need to do a second round. I think the Browns were picking in the third round or late in the second round last year for their first selection in the 2024 draft, but every team has got a pick in this year's draft. So we're going to go through all 32 teams, and then after that, I'll give you a little bonus again, but it won't be the exact same thing, so stay tuned for that part of it. All right, so the mock draft begins with the number 1 pick. This is the Tennessee Titans. And this one, well, guys, we have quarterbacks going every year. And I believe that this year, the first pick in the draft is going to be Cam Ward. This is going to be the QB out of Miami. You know, Will Levis has been a tough player, but not what they wanted him to be when they selected him a couple of years ago. Now, the Titans, could have been engaged in a kind of a smoke screen to escalate the price of this pick here, but I think they are going to go with him despite, they really haven't talked about him being their franchise quarterback. So it does make you wonder a little bit. I do think that they do have some genuine interest in him, and they haven't looked at free agent quarterbacks really. They haven't invested. They have invested in an offensive line in the offseason and last year that really could indicate their desire to go with Cam Ward as their franchise quarterback. It's really hard to pass up the exciting player that he is, and he is the best quarterback in this draft on paper. You look at his body size, and it reminds me a lot of a guy that the Titans had in their past, maybe the second best quarterback in their franchise history, Steve McNair out of Alcorn State. He looks a lot like Steve McNair, and if he has the same kind of toughness, they're in for having a great QB for years to come. But Steve McNair is one of my favorite players of that generation. May he rest in peace. But he is also one of the diciest picks of the number one pick that I think we've seen in a long time, guys. The last several years has been pretty much the number one pick has been a guy that is kind of a can't fail. You just go back over the last several years, and not that they've been great, but this one just doesn't seem like he's a marquee, a guy that you just go, he's a must pick. So it's a little different this year, but I think they are going to go with him. The QB position is just the position in the NFL these days. So you will see him come off at number one. Next we got Johnny's Browns, JHL. Are you ready for this? All right, Eli, what's going to happen here? All right. Well, guys, could they go with a quarterback here? It's possible. But I think Johnny has been talking about this since over a month ago. And he's got some of the inside details. And I'm kind of using his knowledge on this. I think he knows some of the people in the Browns front office, but he isn't telling us. Browns are going to go with Travis Hunter, the two-way star, and I'll just say, I think he's mostly going to play. Corner when he comes to the Browns. All right, so it's going to be a great pick for the Cleveland Browns this year. I don't think they're going to go with pass rusher Abdul Carter because they could conceivably use Travis Hunter as a wide receiver and a cornerback, but alternatively they signed a pass rusher named Joe Tyron Shoyinka in free agency, and they've seen a lot of promise out of Alex Wright as well, and they also re-signed their great defensive end. So we got the whole line is kind of intact there. They don't really need to add another pass rusher at this point. So it's easy to see the kind of the vision at pass rusher right now on the Browns than it is at wide receiver. Miles is marquee guy, so the wide receiver position for the Browns, they have Judy, and that's it. So it really would help to bring in Hunter, but I really think he's going to be more of play mostly cornerback this year. So, and maybe start to get him involved with the offense as well. All right, round three, there we go, Joseph. So we have some great classic memories from years ago, back in 2018, or 2019 draft, Big Buell and Gideon. Gideon was really excited about Daniel Jones. So we'll see how excited they are this year about the Giants pick. And I think everyone knows what's going to happen with the Giants at number 3, even though, they could go quarterback. So, all right, there we go. Probably the best player in the NFL draft this year is Abdul Carter, the edge of Penn State, 6'3", 250. I don't believe that the Russell Wilson signing has any impact on what the Giants are going to do here at number 3 overall, but I could see them drafting an impact performer to improve this season's roster, and maybe waiting until day 2 to see if there's a quarterback there. So, all right, so that's pick 3, and then we'll go to pick 4. We got Slicky Swift Dieter ready. They got the franchise quarterback in place last year with the number 3 pick overall, Drake May out of the University of North Carolina. Looking good so far. He's going to be even better in year 2. And you know why he's going to be even better in year 2? Not just because he knows the offense and because he has a lot of starts under his belt, but because he's going to have his franchise left tackle in place, and it's the best left tackle in the NFL draft, and it's of course the LSU bookend, Will Campbell. So in an ideal world, the Patriots would be able to, at this point, kind of trade back a little bit, maybe 10, 11, somewhere in there, and still get the left tackle of the future. But after Ward, Hunter, and Carter are selected, you're not going to see a lot of rush of other teams to climb the draft board with those guys gone. So it's still going to be a good draft in the first round for the Patriots, getting Will Campbell. This is a obvious pick for them, and I like how it looks for the Patriots offense going forward. They also made some nice moves in free agency in the offseason with their offense. All right, let's go to the Jaguars. All right, the Jaguars are an interesting team here. This is going to be one to watch when the clock starts rolling for the Jacksonville Jaguars, because they have a new GM. It's kind of a new thing going on here. So new face, and Trevor Lawrence, 2021. So he's been marginally good and a lot of injuries. So this could be a Sanders pick here. It's very, very possible. So I'm gonna go with more of a common type of prediction. I'm gonna go with Mason Graham. I think this is more of a better pick here, and this is gonna be our first Wolverine off the board, guys. The defensive lineman out of Michigan. This guy is an excellent player, 6'3", 296. You look at, if you add Mason Graham to the Jaguars, this gives Jacksonville a higher pass rush upside, and it also gives them more depth at a critical position. They really need help on the defensive side of the football. A year ago, new Jaguars general manager James Gladstone, no relation to Joey Gladstone, the Full House, was part of the Rams front office. So this is the new GM here. He was part of the Rams front office, who did an excellent job in the draft in 2024 with those two defensive linemen, Fisk and the other one, and Braden Fisk was a defensive tackle, Mason Graham a defensive tackle. And I think they used a top 50 pick on Fisk, and he turned to be very, very good. And this is going to be a similar type of draft pick he's going to make for the Jaguars as the new GM, bring him in and make a difference. All right, let's go to Mamba Mania, boys. This is going to be Darth Raider. All right, Raiders. Raider fan, are you ready for this? It's time, guys. Bring some electricity to the offense. We all know what's going to happen here. Raiders at number 6 are going to go with first running back off the board, and that is the Boise State back, Ashton Jeanty. And boy, did he have a hell of a year in 2024. Incredible season for him, 5'9", 211. A lot of people were quick to associate this young man with Las Vegas after the Raiders acquired Geno from Seattle. And the Raiders are clearly trying to position themselves to compete for the next few years. With Geno as kind of a bridge to whoever the next guy is going to be. And they definitely need, during that time period, a lot of explosiveness on offense, give their team an identity, and maybe a little too rich to take a wide receiver here. So a way to address the need of needing that explosiveness in the offense without steering too wide of value is to take Ashton Jeanty, and he's going to be a great running back in the NFL. Mamba and Darth Raider, loyal. You guys have got a great one. All right, so that's your pick there. All right, and that's your top 6 so far, and we'll move on to the picks 7 through 12.
Do 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 do.
It is time for the Jets are now on the clock. B-Mile. DPCX, Fast Furious. Are you coming to the party tomorrow night? Mr. Met, you guys, come on. It's time. Jet fans, rise up. You get the number 7 pick in the NFL draft. What's going to happen with you guys? Oh my gosh. All right. They just got Justin Fields as a quarterback. All right. Well, I hope that works. But what I think will work is their draft pick. Not sure. You got this one here. All right. Armand Membao, the offensive tackle out of Missouri Tigers. What do you guys think about this pick? I think it's going to be a very good one for the Jets. They definitely need some offensive line help because Morgan Moses, University of Virginia, departed in free agency. So the Jets are going to play Olu Fashanu, who's a great pick, at left tackle, and then Armand Membao will be their new right tackle. Hopefully, forget about having to address the position for like a decade. So you get those bookends there with Fashanu is a great pick, and then Membao, I think it's going to be also a great pick. And the Jets should be set up for the future. They just need someone. They just need a quarterback. All right. So I don't know. Maybe Tim Boyle, bring him back. So all right. So the Jets probably have to establish. We'll try to establish the run game with these guys, and he gives them. Mr. Membao gives them a much better chance at doing this than with the other linemen that they have on hand. So 6'4", 332. He's going to be a great lineman for the Jets. You all excited about that? Offensive tackle? All right, you should be. All right, next we got Ace's team. We got the Carolina Panthers. It's Panther time. All right, guys, and we're going to go. It's pretty obvious that the Panthers need, Bryce Young on offense really showed something at the second part of his second year. So I think they got to feel good about that. They can't feel good about the defense, though. And so that's why we're going to see our first Bulldog, Andy, go off the board. And this is going to be Jalen Walker. Oh. All right, so Jalen Walker. First Bulldog off the board, and he is an edge out of Peach State. So Jalen Walker is going to be the pick for the Panthers. Carolina definitely needs a difference makers on defense since they traded away Brian Burns. That trade away to the Giants, Brian Burns, the linebacker, has really hurt them defensively. And they've had a lot of trouble replacing his influence and impact on the defense. Jalen Walker is not a prototypical size at 6'1", 243, but he's got a lot of quickness and he can apply pressure on the opposing quarterback. So good pick here at number 8 for the Panthers. Saints are on the board. The New Orleans Saints. Bad news about Derek Carr. This opens things up even more. They wasted, in my opinion, a pick last year on a quarterback. So, that was not a very good pick by them. So they're going to go with, I believe, and I think a lot of people believe this one too, Shedeur Sanders, the quarterback from the Buffs. Wow, 2 Buffs in the top 10, guys. All right, so we have our second quarterback off the board here at number 9. All right, so this is a pretty clear pick for the Saints here. They've got to break the cycle and take Sanders rather than waiting until day 2 like they did last year. They waited until round 3. kind of try a developmental quarterback, the guy from South Carolina, and it didn't work out. So if you do that, if you wait till like day 2, then you just add another quarterback to their pile of mediocrity. And there's no guarantee that any first round pick is going to be successful. But even if Sanders gives them comparable play, and he's been compared to his ceiling comparison is Jared Goff, real accurate passer. It is at a much less expensive rate than Derek Carr. So I think this is going to be a good pick. You got Kellen Moore, very good offensive coordinator coming in as the new head coach. A dome team here with the Saints in the Superdome. Think about Jared Goff, how he excels in that. With a great, he's had a great offensive coordinator in a dome. Like similar for Shedeur Sanders. And he's got some weapons on that team. All right, good team around him. Kind of underrated team there. All right, so Saints take Shedeur Sanders, and then the Bears Scott. All right, so Scott, what do you think of your Scotty? What's going to happen to your weed? All right, Jay Weed, what do you think of your bald head? Who are they going to take? I think they're going to go with the first tight end off the board here, guys. It's going to be Tyler Warren. All right, this is the second Penn State. Bill Carter, number 2, and number 10. Bears take Tyler Warren, best tight end in the draft, and he's 6'6", 256. There's been conversation about Chicago needing to add another wide receiver to go along with DJ Moore and Roma Dunze. But new head coach Ben Johnson might just want to lean to the run game a little more and play more 12 personnel with Cole Kmet and Tyler Warren. So if you get Cole Kmet, Tyler Warren in there, a couple of very good tight ends for Caleb Williams. I think this is the right pick for the situation. And then we go with, Bears, Tyler Warren. Congratulations, Bears Scott. We get a number 11. This is going to be Jackass Jay's team, the 49ers. 49ers, this is a guy that has just skyrocketed up the board in recent weeks, and he's going to be hard to pass up. Mike Green, the edge rusher here from Marshall. All right, so we got Mike Green. He was kind of under the radar at first, but people are just great pro day, and he's going to be the pick here. San Fran is almost certainly going to take a trench player with their first round pick here. Edge rusher, defensive tackle, or offensive line. It's going to be one of those. I think it's going to be Mike Green. He gives the 49ers another pass rusher opposite of Nick Bosa, who is kind of a stat piler and a guy who kind of jumps on the pile after it's over. He does a lot of the things that Ace Dog used to accuse Julius Peppers of doing. I think that's Nick Bosa. But Mike Green, he's the real deal. And he'll make Nick Bosa even better. So, they'll complement each other, is what I meant to say. So, all right, let's go with the Free Jack spoke. All right, so we got the Kari Thaggood. You ready? Big Rich, where you been? The boys. Cannot wait to see the Jerry Jones draft room. It's always a great moment. What the hell are they going to do? Are they going to trade up? I mean, it could be anything with these guys. But yeah, this one we're going to see our first. This is a great receiver class. I'm going to talk about this as we go along. No, that's not. It's I'm thinking of something else. It's not a great receiver class. It's pretty good, but last year we had a lot of receivers in the draft, especially low first round into the second round. This year we do have a few that should go in the first round, but not as good. And then after that it gets a little thinner. But this one, probably the best receiver in the NFL draft, and it's Matthew Golden. So this is going to be an exciting pick for Cowboy fans. They're going to stay in the state of Texas to make their pick. It's going to be Matthew Golden. He's a highlight player, 5'11", 191, great speed. Dallas has not had a consistent complement to CeeDee Lamb since they had Amari Cooper, and they really have struggled trying to find that second guy. This is the guy, Matthew Golden. The Cowboys are going to stay, stay committed to this, and they're going to take Matthew Golden, I believe, and it's going to address that need perfectly. So, Cowboy fans, you got Matthew Golden. So that's the first 12. We're going to go to picks 13 through 18. The Miami Dolphins are on the clock, boys. Who's it going to be with the Miami Dolphins? Dolphinator! It's going to be Will Johnson. So we have our first cornerback. This is not unusual to have a cornerback go around the 13th spot at all. So Will Johnson is your pick here. And we have another Wolverine there, Scott. All right, so we got another Wolverine defensive player for the Dolphins, boys. 6'2", 194. Jalen Ramsey, not going to play forever. And they don't have a very good option on the other side of the field. Will Johnson, Kader Kahu, and Ramsey is a strong starting unit for the Miami Dolphins, and this helps their defense. So Will Johnson is the pick here for the Dolphins. Who's next? Do it. Good pick here. Tight end, Colston Loveland. Fits right into that offense. 6'6", 248. I think they should be excited about having Colston Loveland, a guy who's going to be, they'll be excited to see him still available at this point on the draft board. And if he drops, I think any team with that need under needs to scoop him up. But I really believe he's going to go to the Indianapolis Colts. See what that does for their offense. So there we go. All right, Colts. I really thought the Colts should have made made some discussions with the Rams to try to get Matthew Stafford. I think they have a great offensive line, maybe the best offensive line in the AFC. And I think they really missed an opportunity there. Maybe they did, but Colston Loveland is going to be good. I don't think the Colts are going to be that great this year. All right, so next team is going to be Andy. So the Falcons, we have, I guess he's still a Falcons fan. He switches teams a lot, but I think we're going to go with Jamar Stewart is going to be the pick for the Birds here at number 15. And so this is defensive lineman. We got a Texas A&M Aggie here coming to Georgia, play for the Falcons, and he's a good one. The Atlanta Falcons signed Leonard Floyd in free agency, but that's a short-term fix at best. Jamar Stewart is a little unrefined, but he's a talented prospect, and he'll be the best available here at 15. If the production this year and in the future matches his athletic potential, he would be a top 5 pick in this draft. But his production is a little bit in question. I think this is definitely a great pick right here at 15 for the Falcons. Jamar Stewart of Texas A&M. We got the Cardinals coming up. Defense is a big need for them. And so I think they're going to go with Jahdae Barron. So we have another cornerback going. All right. Not sure if that's how they spell. Slick spells a dog's name, but Barron. All right. So Jahdae Barron, the cornerback out of Texas. So we got another Texas player here going off the board. Barron is a 5'11", 194. Probably has a similar versatility to Trent McDuffie. He's a good corner, and in that he can play on the boundary, he can line up in the slot, so you can kind of move him in different places. He's best suited playing the field, and some teams may have a ceiling on where they would draft that type of player, but Jonathan Gannon comes from Philadelphia, where last year they picked Cooper DeJean, and that changed the defense not only with DeJean's play, but with his spirit. All right, next is the Bengals, interesting team this year, and they need some help on the offensive line a little bit now. They're definitely on defense. Could use a running back as well, certainly, but not this high up. Maybe go for the North Carolina running back. It's possible. But I think they're going to go with Michael Williams. Edge rusher. All right, so I'm going to go with an edge here. Good pick for the Bengals. And another Bulldog, Andy. So Falcons could pick a Bulldog here if they wanted to. But I think it's going to be Michael Williams to the Bengals. 6'5", 260. Trey Hendrickson has been someone you've heard about a lot lately. He has not yet signed a contract as of the recording of this video. Extension in Cincinnati. So you would think that he stands by his trade request, and if the Bengals honor that trade request, it could happen tomorrow night. It could happen on draft night. Then they are left with Myles Murphy, and Joseph Osai after Sam Hubbard retired. So Michael Williams, it makes sense then. He has some excitement to the defensive end team room. All right, so number 18, we go with the Seattle Seahawks, and McDonald, the second-year head coach, wants to get a little bit of himself into this, so that means defense. Former Ravens defensive coordinator, and he's going to go with our first safety off the board. This is going to be Malachi Starks. All right, so they're going to go safety. And guess what, guys? This is also going to be another Bulldogs. We got back-to-back doggies. Defensive doggies. All right. So Malachi Starks, like I said, McDonald looking for accountability from the safety position. He wants an extension of himself out on that defense. On the football field, and Starks did not test like an elite athlete, but he has great instincts that allow him to, those instincts allow just offset any other concerns. This is going to be a good pick for the Seahawks. All right, let's go to number 19.
Ding, 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 ding.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are on the clock. Is that your team? Sexy Mike. We have, in recent years, a lot of Alabama players. We're just so accustomed to seeing them go in the first round, as many as like 5. I think we have like 6 one year or something. Ridiculous. Not as many are going to go this year, but this is going to be one of them. All right, so this is going to be a defensive player. It's going to be our first linebacker in the NFL draft, boys, and it's going to be Jahad Williams. linebacker from the Crimson Tide. It's Buccaneers. Buccaneers need a little defensive help there, and so they picked the 6'3", 235-pound linebacker who is an elite athlete. He can provide pass rush from an off-ball type of role. Tampa Bay has a cerebral type of veteran linebacker in there already, Devontae David, and the hope is that rubs off onto the rookie Williams, and Williams can kind of download that information from the great veteran Devontae David. So this is the pick here for the Buccaneers at number 19. We're at number 20 now, and we got the Denver Broncos. All right, so Denver has addressed most of its pressing needs this offseason, but there's one position they haven't addressed, and that is the running back position. And so I think you know what's coming here. The pick for the Denver Broncos is going to be at number 20. It's going to be Omarion Hampton, the back out of the Cheating Hills. All right, so we got Omarion Hampton, the second running back picked in this draft. Is he better than Janty? We'll know in like a few years, maybe a couple of years. So 6'2", 220. This is, Javonte Williams signed with Dallas this offseason, their running back last year. And Janty is probably more in line with what Sean Payton, the head coach, would like to have at this position. But the Broncos would have to trade up to make that dream a reality. They can't complain here. They're going to have to go with Hampton in number 20, unless Dallas picks him. So it's possible Dallas goes with him, but I think it's going to be the Broncos pick, Omarion Hampton. Let's go Heels. We go to Duck Dick's team. All right, so Duck Spank. Is this still your team, Duck? All right, well, we'll see. But we have more offense going here. So the Steelers are going to go here with a guy that has really been making a lot of noise lately as far as his talent. And it's going to be a wide receiver, Luther Burden out of Missouri, another Missouri Tiger. Second one in the first round in the Frank Addington mock draft. And I would not be surprised if George Pickens was moved at some point before the season begins. Pittsburgh acquired DK Metcalf, a huge pickup, and the skill sets kind of overlap with Pickens and Metcalf. And then you have, if you have Aaron Rodgers there, Rodgers and Pickens would be an unstable mixture. Burden is a much better match for the Steelers offense. I like the pick here. Luther Burden could be the best receiver in this class. So good pick for the Steelers at 21. We go to Bolt Dog's team, the Chargers. And the Chargers, it would not be surprising if they went with offensive line here, maybe, but they picked their franchise left tackle last year. And he's looking Joe Alt. He's looking pretty good so far. And so one glaring need for them, they kind of need like a playmaker on the offense. So I think with the 22nd pick in the National Football League draft, the Los Angeles Chargers are going to go with a wide receiver. And they're going to go with Terrioa McMillan. Very good-looking receiver here out of Arizona. So Terrioa McMillan is a big guy. He's 6'4", 219, 6'4" guys. So he's a little, red zone threat in there. So it wouldn't be surprising if NFL teams kind of overthought McMillan here in this draft after he ran a kind of a mediocre 40-yard dash time. But Drake London did a 4.5 something, and he was still picked number 8 overall. So this guy's going to be a very dependable target on the Chargers offense, and I look for him to have a good breakout rookie season on that team. So we have Teterior, whatever, McMillan at number 22 going to the Chargers. All right. Next team is the Packers. So we got the Packers coming up. Packer fans, you ready? C-Town is going to be cheering this guy on next year from the confines of Lambeau Field, freezing his balls off, and it's going to be, the pick here is going to be Walter Nolan. All right, so we'll have the Walter Nolan pick. Ole Miss defensive lineman, Walter Nolan. It's going to be a good pick, I think, for them. Packers number 23. Odds are good that Green Bay will use its first-round pick on the defensive side of the ball. So I think this is kind of a safe pick for the Frank Addington mock draft. And the defensive line is a good place to start in the wake of T.J. Slayton's departure. All right, let's go with the no-hit Vikings. Who are the Vikings going to pick? Vikings already have a good defense, right? So what are they going to do here? Well, I think it's going to be more defense. All right, it's going to be Nicky. All right, so we got Nicky Emmanwori. You've heard this name. One of the most touted safeties, not even more defense, one of the most touted safeties in this draft here, the South Carolina safety. All right, so that's going to be their pick there. Think about Cam Byram, left for Indianapolis, and Harrison Smith, great veteran, but gosh, he's not going to, he can't go on forever, so the Vikings make an investment here in the future with their secondary, with the selection of Nick Emmanwori. Is a great player. He's also got some bust potential. Remember, I said this, so he could be a little bit on the bust side, could go either way type of player, but I think it will be a smart pick for the Vikings there at number 24. All right, we're getting down to the end. Maybe we'll finish this thing off with the last 7 picks. All right, let's finish this thing up here. It is the Houston Texans on the clock with the number 25 pick in the NFL draft. A little disappointing last year, but they still made it to the divisional championship. To the divisional round of the playoffs. So they are looking to make that next step in 2025, and they're going to do that by continuing to make amends at protecting C.J. Stroud, and by doing that, they're going to go with some line help. Kelvin Banks is going to be the pick here. It says Franklin Addington here, and it's going to be another Texas player, offensive tackle. I think this is going to be kind of a sneaky pick here for the Houston Texans. So they signed the Cam Robinson and Laken Tomlinson signings, plus the acquisition of Ed Ingram. Those picks don't excite me a whole lot about the future of the Texans' offensive line, but it does give the franchise some options with extensive experience starting in the NFL, to the point where it could go best player available. And the best player available at this point, I think, is going to be Kelvin Banks Jr. So he is the pick. Offensive line is going to be a priority for the Texans, and when you get the best player available, and a really good one happens to be available, I think, with Kelvin Banks. So a good pick there by the Texans. The Rams are a really interesting team to me. Really just intriguing to watch in the off season, and how close they made it to the Super Bowl, and like what it could be this season. And so what are they going to do, especially after they had a couple of home run picks in last year's draft. Incredible front office they're proving to be, really bolstering that defensive line in the wake of the Aaron Donald retirement. And so I think they're going to continue to go with some defense here, and they're going to pick a cornerback, and it's going to be Trey Famous Amos is going to be the pick here, cornerback. All right, and he's out of Ole Miss, so we got another Ole Miss player here in the first round of 2025 NFL draft. And we have, he's a 6'1", 195-pound corner. History suggests that the Los Angeles Rams don't exactly value secondary players at this stage in the draft. They haven't really done that. But a long-term answer cornerback has evaded the Rams since parting with Jalen Ramsey. And Amos has quality combination of production and athletic ability. So we're going to have Amos, I think, is going to really fit this Rams D very well. 26. All right, we got my favorite team, the Baltimore Ravens here. And we're kind of go back to their roots here and take Derek Harmon, who is a very strong player. Our first duck in the draft here, taken off the board. So kind of, Ravens kind of go back to the roots here as they use a first-round pick on the defensive line. Harmon and Madubuike can be a pocket collapsing duo there. So I think this is a good. He's mainly a defensive tackle. So I think those two are really going to just collapse pockets together in that difficult AFC North. So this is the right pick for the Baltimore Ravens. Going with Derek Harmon, defensive line help. We're all the way to 28. We got the pick here is for Bert. Are you watching this right now? And EM Grasshopper Cervix. Are you excited here? What are you going to do? All right, so defense last year, Arnold, another cornerback, had some pretty good play from. I'm excited to see what the Lions secondary is going to look like, especially those two rookies who flashed last year, how they're going to look in 2025 in their second year. Plus, the return of Aiden Hutchinson is great, but it's also a little concern. You don't know how good he's going to be at first. So because of that, I think they're going to go with a defensive end here. It's going to be ready for this one? Zeke is going to be the new defensive end. Donovan Ezekuaku is going to be the pick here at number 28 for the Detroit Lions, the Boston College senior defensive end, 6'3", 248. Jadarius Smith has excited the building and has left the building, and Aiden Hutchinson, returning from that injury. So Zeriaku does not necessarily have the power profile that Dan Campbell has looked for in that role on the defensive line, but he was incredibly productive last fall with the Eagles up there at Boston College. So pretty sound pick here, smart pick. They definitely don't need to go offense, so it's going to be Ezekuaku at defensive end for your Detroit Lions. Next, we have the Washington Commanders at number 29. And I think this pick, now this could be a trade down. I haven't talked about trades. Okay, last year I did a trade in my mock draft. It was that Vikings trade to get McCarthy. And a lot of other people had that too. I'm only going to do trades if if it's something I'm absolutely convinced of, or it's something that we almost are certain is going to happen, I think the Commanders should do a trade to get more draft picks in the second round here. But when you're at this low in the first round, it's very difficult to find a suitor to get something that's worth trading that pick. So at this point, the last 4 picks, it mostly becomes kind of a best available, but the Commanders have a lot of needs. They could go with some interior line help, possibly. Gray Zabel is a name that from North Dakota State, a guard that could come up. But I think here it's going to be a big need, and it's going to be James Pierce, a volunteer. So he is a edge rusher as well, out of Rocky Top here in Tennessee. So James Pierce is 6'5", 245. Now this guy's kind of a polarizing prospect, but freakish workouts lately have captured the attention of a lot of people, and he's got some results are possible from him. A lot of room for growth, but they lost their sack leader, 10.5 sacks last year, went back to the Cowboys, and so this is definitely a need for them. James Pierce is going to be the pick here, number 29 for Pips, Washington Commanders. All right, next we're going to go with the Shockinator, Soft Angel Chris. What is your team going to do with the 30th pick in the National Football League? The Buffalo Bills are on the clock. Who's going to come out and read the pick? Will it be Goodell? I don't know. Will it be Steve Tasker? Will it be Will Wolford, someone from the past? All right, I don't know. Will it be? No, I think it's going to be Goodell doing this. All right, so it's going to be defensive line help. And we're going to go with Kenny. All right, so Kenneth Grant. Help that defensive line. Someone to get to Mahomes when they get back to that AFC Championship game. Man, this is another Michigan player, boys. I think I got 3 Wolverine defensive players going in the first round here. From Frank Addington mock draft, Bills at number 30. You're going to take a 6'4", 331 player, and so he's a good one. Now for the Bills, cornerback and interior of your defensive line are probably the most pressing needs for the Bills. And one of these weaknesses is defensive line. That will be addressed here at number 30 overall. The selection of Wolverine defensive tackle Kenneth Grant. Good pick. All right, more defense goes to the Chiefs. Chiefs. Are you ready, guys? Chiefs. Sorry, KB Toys. Are you ready? It's going to be Maxwell Silver Hammer at secondary. He's going to bring a silver hammer to that defense. This is a big need for them. Maxwell Hairston, are you ready? Maxwell's silver freaking hammer, a wildcat, a wild card pick here out of Kentucky. Good pick here for the Kansas City Chiefs, 5'11", 183. Kansas City does not usually invest in premium draft assets in the cornerback position like first round, but that's also why that unit was a problem last year, a little bit the year before, or really last season at times. And so corrective measures lead to the selection of Maxwell Hairston, cornerback out of Kentucky, in the first round here at the very end. The Philadelphia Eagles, your Super Bowl champions of 2024 season, back in February 2025. Eagles 52. Jockey will be dressed up in his Eagles gear, screaming. What are they going to do? A lot of times it's great when you have a team that is absolutely loaded at pretty much every position. They can just kind of go with a luxury pick. And this is going to be a luxury pick for the Eagles, as we have tight end here will be taken. And it's going to be Mason Taylor. The final pick in the first round of the 2025 NFL Draft. He's a Tiger. He went to LSU. Mason Taylor, the junior. Now, Dallas Goedert has been topic of trade discussions. The situation is similar to when Philadelphia had Zach Ertz and they drafted Goedert in the second round. This is a similar situation. Mason Taylor, who's the son of NFL Hall of Famer Jason Taylor, great defensive end, is brought in as the heir apparent at tight end, and he's going to be an immediate impact player right off the bat, just fitting right into that offense that's already great. Mason Taylor is going to be a great tight end. The Philadelphia Eagles, the first round of the National Football League draft comes to a close. We go to the second round. And it is the Titans. I think it's the Titans. Or the Browns, I believe, with the first pick in the second round. I'm not going to give you that pick, but I will give you a little something else. The last thing I'm going to give you on this Wednesday evening, night before the draft, is sleeper picks. Well, something new. So sleeper picks are just guys that most likely will not go in the first round of this draft. Probably more like second, third round type of picks. But it's just names to look back on this maybe 3 or 4 years from now and say, wow, you were right on this. This guy's he was like a Pro Bowler, really a difference maker on the team. Ended up being Super Bowl MVP, that kind of thing. So, great player. And then, I'm sure I'm going to be wrong on some of them too, but these are my sleeper picks for the 2025 draft. Just guys to kind of look for. I think they're kind of, not really getting a lot of attention, and they could end up being first round quality. So I'm going to start with Jamari Caldwell, defensive tackle out of, you got to have a duck in there, right? You got to have a duck in your list. And so this is going to be a duck out of the Oregon defensive tackle. Started 14 games with Oregon last year, and good power, great motor, active hands at the point of attack. I think he's going to be solid, very solid interior defensive lineman for whoever picks him up. Next, I have Jaden Blue. You've probably heard this name, running back out of Texas. It's hard to be a running back with the Longhorns and fly too far under the radar. But, with Hampton and Janty in this draft, you haven't heard much about Blue. I think Blue is going to be great. He's speedy, explosive. He is a explosive playmaker. He's got electric foot speed and cut ability that makes tacklers miss. And he's got definitely home run ability that is important, that makes offensive coordinators salivate. Someone's going to have a great pick with him in it's going to be a great selection, I think sometime maybe in the second round. This is a running back draft, guys, so if you cannot find a running back in this draft, your front office is worthless. It's got something for everybody. It's got kind of third down backs. It's got like bell cow backs. It's got guys who can block. It's got guys who can catch passes. It's got guys who can play special teams, who can do punt returns. There's a lot of running backs in this draft that are going to be very good right off the bat this year. And so you're going to see a lot of running backs go in all 7 rounds. And one of them, I think one of the best ones, at least top 3, Jaden Blue, Texas Longhorns. The next on my list is Billy Bowman, is another one that's kind of starting to get a little bit of noise. The safety out of Oklahoma, exceptional instincts. He's an opportunistic player. He's got a high football IQ, and he uses precise angles. I really like this guy as a pick, maybe even like low first round. Billy Bowman could be great for some team. Next on my list is Miles Hinton, offensive tackle. Got to have another Wolverine in there. Miles. So Miles Houston, under the radar as an offensive tackle here. He is a punishing run blocker. He has this mentality like just a finisher, putting defensive players to the ground, push defenders on their backside. And he's also got multi-positional flexibility where he can kind of play. He can play a little guard as well, and so he helps running backs. He helps running backs with like creating wide running lanes, and on top of that, great leadership. So I really like Miles Houston. And then next we have a linebacker out of Oklahoma State, a Cowboy, Nick Martin. I don't know if you heard of this guy, but he's got all the tools to be a 3-down impact player. He's a heat-seeking missile there at linebacker, and he is just an under-the-radar type of guy. Great built, great downhill speed. I like Nick Martin. Could be a guy who could play in the league for a while. All right, next I got another Nick. This is Nick Nash, a wide receiver out of San Jose State, and guy I've kind of studied a little bit. I really like. I've seen him in film. He's a little inexperienced as far as how many games he's played, and he's a little older for a pick. But he's got great hands. He's got a lengthy frame and great feel for like leverage, and he is a deep threat as well. Runs like a 4.5, but again, that's Drake London did a 4.5, and he's a high pick. So I wouldn't let that scare me if I needed a receiver. If I was a GM looking for a receiver for my offense. Nick Nash, I really like him. Next we have a cornerback out of Louisville. This is Quincy Riley. This guy's going to be really good, guys. He's a fluid athlete. He's got very good size, and Quincy Riley. He's just elite ball skills, good feel for the ball, great feel for jumping routes. He creates turnovers, excellent timing, and he's a little inconsistent against the run as far as that tenacity and tackling. That's about the only weakness that I can see from Quincy Riley. I think we have a lot of corners. I think I had 3 in the first round, but Quincy Riley is a guy that could really be a good second-round pick for a team that needs a cornerback but had to pick something else in the first round. All right, next we have a running back that I really think this guy's going to be great, guys. Virginia Tech running back. They're in Blacksburg, Virginia. And this guy, Bracel, remember this name, guys, Bracel Tootin. I am tooting the horn of Brayson Tootin. He is one of the fastest players in the NFL draft this year. He also runs really hard. He is excellent at like short area quickness. His vision is a little spotty at times, but he's got breakaway ability and just dynamic, incredible speed downfield. I really like Bracel Tootin. Look for this guy to be a great running back in the NFL. And then we go with this is a guy who hasn't really gotten a lot of attention, but Seth Hennigan, the signal caller out of Memphis, he's a really good pocket passer, quick decisive reads on his drop back, strong athlete. And what I like is his ability to attack plays down the field, and he has significant room for growth. Like some people have said, his upside isn't that good. I disagree. I think he does have room there for growth to be a solid starter in the NFL. C.J. West, a defensive tackle from the Hoosiers. So he's a impact, fluid interior defensive player, 6'2", 317. Makes a great. I think he's gonna make a great depth player with the possibility of being a starter as well. And then finally, I have Jack Beck, wide receiver out of TSU. He's a physical receiver. This guy will bully defenders. He just has really well-timed routes. He's a very good runner. He lulls defenders to sleep a little bit, and he's just a great contact player. He has great separation, and he kind of plays at his own pace, sets his own tone. That's what I like about him. Jack Beck, receiver. I had to have a couple of receivers in this, and definitely a couple of running backs, because this is a running back draft. But those are my 11 guys, Frank's sleeper picks for the 2025 NFL draft. That's all I got for you. So I'm not going to break down anything else about the draft. We're looking forward to. Are you guys excited about tomorrow night? The big party. It's the party of the year. We are going to rock and roll all night long, boys. All right, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be maybe not as great as last year because it's hard to top last year, but I'm looking forward to seeing maybe some new faces come into the room and just join the party. People crashing the party. We're going to do like a lot of trivia, a lot of discussing what you liked about what pick as it happens. Not discussing about food. Bring your beer if you do that, and let's get nude. Let's do it. Let's do it the right way, guys. All right, it's April. It's the big party of the year. So we won't have a party like this until less than a month for FG's birthday. All right, guys. Thanks for watching the Frank's mock draft picks for the first round of the 2025. Draft. Hope your team picks someone that really helps your franchise, and I'll see you tomorrow night for the party. It's gonna be awesome. Thanks, guys, for checking out this premiere video on the Frank Addington channel. It's been great. Peace and God bless.